powerful friends of Mr. Hill's," he said, "'cause this is the first time I've ever seen him loan his car out to anyone." He paused and grinned. "Hell, when the president came out here last year on a tour, Mr. Hill gave him another car, said this one was too good for politicians to use." "Thanks for all your help," Smoke said, smiling and shutting the door behind the man. As the station master stepped down out of the car, a man moved out of the shadows next to the station building and stood there staring at the train. When the station master approached him, the man ducked his head and put a lucifer to the cigarette dangling from the corner of his mouth. He looked up, tipping smoke from his nostrils, and gave the station master a lopsided grin. "Howdy," he said in a friendly tone of voice. "Hello," the station master answered. "If you're here to buy a ticket on this train, you need to see the man in the ticket booth inside the building." "Thanks," the stranger answered. "I might just do that." He turned toward the building, hesitated, and then he looked back over his shoulder at the station master. By the way, was that man I just saw getting on the train named Smoke Jensen?" The station master nodded absent-mindedly, already thinking about the dozens of things he had to see to before the train could leave the station. The stranger cut his eyes back at the train before he went into the station to buy a ticket. His eyes were filled with hate. When he got to the ticket booth, he pulled a wad of cash from his vest pocket and placed it on the counter. "Can I help you, sir?" the ticket man asked. "Yeah. Can you tell me how far Smoke Jensen and his friends are going?" The ticket salesman looked down at an open book in front of him and pursed his lips for a moment. "I believe they're ticketed all the way through to Big Rock, Colorado," he said, glancing back up at the man standing in front of his window. "Then give me a ticket to the same place," the man said, pushing his money under the gated window. "Yes, sir. And I need to know if I have time to send a wire before the train leaves." The ticket man pulled a watch from his vest pocket and shook his head as he looked at it. "No, sir, I don't believe you do." "Damn," he muttered. "But I'd be happy to send one for you after the train leaves, if you wish." When the man nodded, looking relieved, the ticket man pushed a piece of paper and a pencil under the window gate. "Just write out who you want me to send it to and what you want to say, and I'll get it on over to the telegraph office just as soon as the train leaves the station." The man stammered, his face burning scarlet. "I can't write too good." The ticket man pulled the paper back and smiled. "Then just tell me what you want to say in your message, and I'll write it for you." "It's to Angus McDougal in Pueblo, Colorado." The man thought for a moment, and then he said, "Just say our friend is headed for home. Should be there in 10 days. "Will there be anything else, sir?" the ticket man asked as he folded up the paper. The man grinned through thin lips. "No, I think that ought about do it." After Smoke closed the door and turned around, he saw Lewis pouring himself a glass of brandy into a bell-shaped crystal goblet from Hill's private bar in the corner. Lewis swirled the amber liquid for a moment, and then he sniffed delicately of the aroma. His face relaxed, and he smiled, as if he had died and gone to heaven. Cal had taken his boots off and was lying back on the overstuffed sofa, poking the cushions with his hands, feeling how soft they were. Pearlie was over in the opposite corner, and he had his hands on the bell rope, about to pull it. Smoke cleared his throat loudly. "Pearlie, what are you doing?" Pearlie glanced over at him, his face blushing slightly and looking embarrassed. "Oh, I'm just ringing this here bell to see if the man who answers it can get us some food before I faint from hunger." Smoke shook his head, pointing to the corner of the car where a coffee pot was steaming on a fat-bellied stove. "Why don't you have a